Have you ever just felt scattered, like you have a million different passions and the world is telling you to just pick one, but you can't? You just can't. If that sounds familiar, then you're in exactly the right place.
What if the real issue isn't a lack of focus? What if your problem is that you have too many things you're genuinely excited about and could absolutely stick with? You're not scared of commitment, you're just paralyzed by all the incredible options. I love this quote. I could do anything if I only knew what it was. Oh man, does that hit home? It's this feeling of having all this energy, all this potential, but you're just stuck. You're at a crossroads with 100 signs, and they all look good.
And of course, society has a few not so flattering labels for this. Dilettante, jack of all trades, master of none. These labels can take your greatest asset, this incredible boundless curiosity, and twist it into a source of constant anxiety. Well, today, we're gonna flip that script. Okay, so let's start taking that anxiety apart. To find a new way forward, we first have to understand why the old career advice feels so wrong. It feels like a trap because the world has changed, but the advice hasn't. The problem isn't you. So, for a really long time, the career world was what you'd call a kind learning environment. Think of it like golf. The rules are clear, you get instant feedback on your shot, and you get better by repeating the same swing over and over. But we don't live there anymore. We live in a wicked environment. This is more like being a firefighter. The rules are always changing, feedback is often unclear, and your success depends entirely on your ability to adapt. Now, in that old kind world, the I-shaped specialist was king. And let's be super clear, we still need specialists. Their deep knowledge is absolutely vital. The problem is when that I-shaped path is presented as the only way to have a successful career. It makes anyone who doesn't fit that narrow mold feel like they're doing something wrong. So if we want to build a career that actually fits a curious, adaptable brain, we need to stop thinking about job titles and start thinking about shapes. Yeah, geometry. Stick with me here. First up, you've got that I-shaped person we just talked about, the specialist. Think of a deep, narrow pillar of expertise, a mile deep, but maybe only an inch wide. On the total opposite end, you've got the dash-shaped person, the dabbler. This is the big trap a lot of us fall into. You're a mile wide, but only an inch deep. You know a little bit about a lot of things, but it can leave you feeling like you have no solid ground to stand on. It's a recipe for anxiety. But there is a third way, and this is where it gets really, really cool. It's the M-shaped professional, the polymath. This isn't about being a master of none. This is about becoming a master of several things, and then building a bridge between them. So what does this M-shape actually look like in the real world? Imagine this. One of your deep pillars is data science. You really know your stuff. Your second deep pillar is storytelling. And that horizontal bar connecting them, that's your broad interest in things like psychology, history, and design. All of a sudden, you're not just a data scientist. You're the incredibly rare and incredibly valuable person who can take a complex spreadsheet and turn it into a story that a CEO can actually understand and act on. Game changer. So what's the secret sauce here? What makes this M shape so powerful? Well, it comes down to a concept that is, I'm not kidding, your true superpower. It's called far transfer. See, a specialist gets really good at what's called near transfer, solving similar problems over and over. But a polymath, an M-shaped person, uses far transfer. This is the mind-bending ability to see a pattern in one field and apply it to a completely unrelated one to create something brand new. Think of it like this. It's looking at the way a tree's roots branch out and suddenly realizing that's the perfect way to structure a company's database. It's understanding the principles of musical harmony and using that to build more elegant software. It's not just about seeing the notes. It's about hearing the music that connects everything. And this is the most important part. All those things you thought were just random hobbies, learning guitar, that obsession with ancient history, your fascination with gardening, they are not random. They are your strategic assets. They are building a massive, unique library of metaphors in your brain that you can pull from to create insights no one else can see. Okay, so this sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? How do you go from feeling scattered to building an M-shaped life? Well, there's a strategy. It's a deliberate, three-part plan. The whole strategy boils down to three key things. First, serial mastery. Second, using your job as a strategic job. And third, creating an external system to capture all your ideas. Let's break those down. First step, serial mastery. Here's the key.
You can't build all the pillars of your M at once. That's how you end up as a dabbler. Instead, you pick one thing and you commit to it for a season. Maybe that's 6 months, maybe it's 18. You go deep until you've mastered the core 80%, and then you make a strategic quit. This is so important. You're not quitting because you failed, you're graduating. You're consciously deciding it's time to start building your next pillar.
Step 2. Think about your day job strategically. You know, Einstein did his most revolutionary work while he was a patent clerk. Why? Because the job gave him stability, but it didn't suck up all of his mental energy. Your job doesn't have to be your one true passion. It can be a stable platform that pays the bills and, crucially, leaves you with enough brainpower at the end of the day to build your other pillars. Your job is an asset, not just a paycheck.
And finally, step 3. You have to build an external system for your brain. Your mind is an amazing idea factory, but it's a terrible warehouse. Trying to store every single fleeting thought and obsession in your head is a direct path to burnout. So, get it out. Use a system. It could be a fancy app like Notion or Obsidian, or just a simple notebook. The goal is to capture the dots now so you have them ready to be connected later.
So let's just bring this all home. This is your path. You're not a dabbler who can't commit. You're not a person who lacks grit. You are a potential polymath. Your brain isn't wired wrong. It's wired differently. It's designed to be a bridge, connecting entire worlds of knowledge in a way that most people just can't. So maybe we should just end on this thought. Maybe you were never meant to find that one thing and do it for the rest of your life. Maybe, just maybe, you were meant to be the person who sees how everything connects.